Classic Country with Eddie Bear is honored indeed to welcome a man whose accomplishments in country music are truly astounding. Over 30 hits on the Billboard charts, 19 of them in the top 10. ACM Awards, CMA nominations, Gold Record, major Music City Awards and citations, a member of the Grand Ole Opry, inducted into the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame, and with all that, still makes time to be the national spokesperson for Feed the Children and helps American farmers as part of Farm Aid. Yeah, there's more, but for now, let's get this man on the air with us, one of the most respected vocalists in the business, Mr. John Conlee. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. My pleasure being with you.
You have quite the distinguished career. If we may, can we go back in time and give us a little feedback on how a young tobacco farm boy from Kentucky evolves into one of the most loved country voices of all time?
Well, it was a varied path. You know, I've done a lot of things to make a living. Right out of high school, I went into the funeral profession, started working part-time at a funeral home. We also ran an ambulance service. Got interested enough to pursue it full-time and got my licenses to do that. Spent 6 years doing that, but still had an old itch to try another love of mine, which was broadcasting. I fell in love with radio as a kid, and, after 6 years in the funeral profession, I had to either, go on and try to own a place and stay with that or scratch this other itch. So I ended up in radio just to see how it would go, so I would never have the regret of never having tried it. And that took me to Nashville eventually. And I spent 7 years in radio, 7 in Nashville, that is, 9 altogether. That move to Nashville is what allowed me to turn the hobby of music into a career eventually. And so we started recording. And here we are 31 years later since Rose-Colored Glasses came out and still running up and down the road singing these things live.
You didn't even quit your day job right off.
Oh, no. I was still working at WLAC in Nashville. At that time, I started recording in 1976, and we had 3 singles that didn't make it prior to Rose-Colored Glasses. Rose was the 4th release, no doubt would have been my last. So I learned early on, you don't just put out a record and then quit your job. You wait and see if you got a hit. And it took us a couple of years to get that first hit with Rose, and so I worked at the radio station that whole time. I like to eat, as any picture of me will will tell you, and I didn't want to be without income and so forth while we were waiting to see if we could even have a hit. Even after I left the radio station, and we had the second hit and then the third. It was after the third hit before I hired a full-time band and got into a bus and that sort of thing. I didn't just, go full bore right out of the barrel. I sort of played it safe to make sure we had a chance of staying with this for a while. And again, it paid off, and here we are. This is my 31st year that I'm in since Rose came out.
Congratulations. So I take it at this point, if I ever needed a day off, you probably wouldn't be the guy to call to fill in for me?
Well, I've got applications in all over the country.
Do you?
Because you never know. I would still, I felt, again, when I was taking those guitar lessons on Saturday morning in Kentucky, where I was raised when I was 9 years old or whatever, the guitar lesson only lasted a half hour, and I'd go across the street and hang out the rest of Saturday morning at the radio station, and fell in love with both music and radio at the same time. They go hand in hand, and I still have it in my blood. I have broadcasting in my blood. Love radio.
Over the years, you've had a phenomenal string of hits. Of those, is there that one special song, one that perhaps means more to you than another, or maybe that you're most proud of?
Well, I am very proud and blessed to have the body of work that we've produced, and I give my producer, Bud Logan, credit, high praise and credit for that, because it's that song selection that makes the difference. And I'm proud of all the songs we've done, the singles and songs that were never singles. I mean, there are songs on our albums that should have been, I think, singles that just didn't get to. But we've just done songs, or tried to all the time, with songs with meat on their bones, is the way I put it. Something to say, a story to tell. But Rose-Colored Glasses will always have my own personal favorites list because it was our first hit. It's a standard in music. It's my signature song. It's the one that people would throw tomatoes at me, if I tried to leave out of a show. So, and I'm happy not to leave it out. I love it.
Any words you'd like to share with the fans tuned in?
Well, I would just remind everybody, like everybody else, we have our own website at johnconlee.com, and we invite people to pop in there. You can leave comments, suggestions, whatever. You can, access our music there, see what our tour schedule looks like, and so forth. It's a great way to interact.
5 quick questions.
Okay.
If given the opportunity, which artist or band, living or dead, would you like to do a duet with?
Ray Charles.
If I were to look at the CD player in your personal vehicle right now, what CD might I find?
Probably Jimmy Wayne.
Is there any song that's so good that you wish you'd have written it?
Yeah, He Stopped Loving Her Today.
Great choice.
Yeah.
The silliest thing anyone's ever had you autograph?
Boy, that runs the gamut. That would be hard to narrow down. Probably some animal.
And barring anything I may have said today, what do you recall as being the strangest interview question you were ever asked?
I guess, boxers or briefs.
Do we dare share the answer?
Speedos, but
Speedos.
That's the point.
Okay.
Try to get that picture out of your mind.
Oh, my goodness.
Hi, everybody. This is John Conlee, reminding you that you're listening to Eddie Bear.